Hi there! Welcome to the Gardens and Graveyards channel. My name is Charisma, and today we're meeting in the studio and we're going to talk about seed organization, and what seeds I'm planning on growing this year. I know we've had a lot of discussions about seeds, and I have been playing with different organization methods over the last few years. I landed on a 3-ring binder with baseball cards. I love it, except that it's really bulky and I have to keep it in a space that has no moisture in the air, which is really hard on the Oregon coast where I live. This room has a tremendous amount of humidity in it. The windows are old, there's lots of plants, a lot of humidity gathers in here. I have a dehumidifier just to keep the moisture off my furniture and walls. So I actually keep these seeds in a different room in the house to keep them dry. I thought that I would want to keep my seeds out in the greenhouse, but in reality, I'm not going to start my seeds in the greenhouse. I'm going to start them right here. They're going to end up in my seed starting station, which is actually in the dining room, which is one room over from this. And then they'll get hardened off and put into the greenhouse when they have some growth on them. So I had purchased these photo boxes, and I thought that I would put my seeds in this to protect them a little bit better in the plastic. However, the problem that I have with that is I would have to open the box and rifle through all the seed packets to determine what I have available. Because sometimes opening my computer and looking at a spreadsheet is just another step that I don't want to take when I'm just wanting to see what I have. When I use this 3-ring binder and everything is in these baseball card slots, I can just flip through and see exactly what I have. And I like that more than I like having to rifle through things. I also love having my seeds organized by month rather than by category, which I've done that for a long time in different methods. And I could potentially do that in these. Obviously, there's not 12 here. This is just my example. And I don't start seeds 12 months out of the year. So I probably could get away with these 6 and, just have a couple for January, because I usually do start some seeds like this week, the first week in January, and then start some seeds in 2 or 3 weeks from now, because some seeds need to be sown 10 weeks versus 8 to 6 weeks before the last frost date. So in January I start seeds a couple of times, so I could dedicate 2 for January, 1 or 2 for March, because March is a big planting month for me, direct sow. And then a couple more for later, for cool season crops that I might plant in like August or September. So that is a method that I could play with. And I kind of want to see what happens today, because if you're anything like any gardener that I know, you get one of these magazines in the mail, or maybe you get 2, or maybe you get 3, or maybe you get more. And there are hundreds of pages of all these beautiful photographs of all the possibilities of all the plants that you can grow from seed. And when you start thinking like, wow, I might buy that plant at the nursery for $5 to $10, but I could buy 20 seeds for $4. You start thinking, well, that's the better deal, and I'm going to buy all my seeds from these beautiful catalogs, and then you end up with thousands of seeds. You end up with dozens of packets of seeds, and in each packet of seed, there's anywhere from 10 to 500 seeds. It's too many. I'm never going to plant 500 of anything. So, even though now growing seeds is even easier now that I have a greenhouse, my greenhouse is not heated. It does not have any electricity in it, so it's not like there's no air circulating in it, although I do have a fan with an extension cord in there right now to keep the mold from growing, to just keep air circulating. But like, I don't have, it's not climate controlled at all. So it's essentially an elaborate cold frame, which really does help me keep healthy seeds through the spring. Mostly, what I'm mostly excited about is that it helps me grow hot season crops, or like crops that need heat, like tomatoes and peppers and eggplant. And I did a little bit of that last year, proved that it really will work, and I'm going to amp up my game on that this year. But I don't need to plant so many seeds. So I had hundreds and hundreds of seedlings, and in the end, I didn't really know where to put them all, and I was just like putting seedlings everywhere, or I had to get rid of them. So this year, my goal is to make a really clear plan, which I've done, and list all the seeds that I'm going to grow and how many of them that I need for the space that I'm growing them in. And then I want to go through my seeds that I have in this 3-ring binder. And I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to tag the plant or the seeds that I'm going to use this year. I'm going to check any expiration dates, and if it's over 2 years old, I'm tossing them. I know that there are ways to test viability. There's ways to like oversow and see if you could come up with things. I just don't have the time, patience, energy, or will to do that. So if they're over 2 years, I'm going to toss them. If they're a year or under and I'm not likely going to use them because maybe I grew them last season and I didn't love them, I'm going to give those to the seed library. My local libraries have seed banks that you can donate your excess seeds to. That's what I'm going to do if it's a year or less on the expiration date. Send that to the library, get rid of anything older, and keep the things that I'm going to grow this year. Or keep the things that I really, really love and maybe I won't grow this year, but I most likely will grow next year and they're not expired. So I'm going to really whittle down how many seeds I have in this collection. And going forward, I will order seeds according to the following year's plan. So many of you know who have been following me for a while, I really love themes in my garden, and I love changing up the way the garden looks every year because my garden is mature and pretty well established. I move things around and make them more cozy and make them more sacred and make them more user-friendly. But there's little pockets of areas that I plant every year to create a whole new sense of like fresh ideas and excitement in the garden. So it's not just like this monotonous, the same every year, right? And so last year, my annuals were pink lemonade themed, so all my annuals were pink and yellow. And this year they're hot tropics, and I'm going to talk about that in a video tomorrow, and we will talk about my annual plan for like supertunias and petunias and calibrachoa, geraniums, all those types of things that I buy as plants. But with that in mind, the hot tropic theme for this year is gonna carry over into my seeds. Last year, I tried for the first time creating a cut flower garden dedicated to dried flowers in my raised bed in front of the greenhouse. It worked out fabulously. Spencer built me a trellis thing, a drying rack in my dining room, and I hung all of my dried flowers there. I made several dried flower arrangements. It was a great year. There's so many. I don't need any more right now. I did plant some of those dried flowers to self-seed in another area of the garden. So if I need to like have a few more, those will be available. And this year in the raised bed, I'm doing all ranunculus for the spring. And then when that's over, all zinnias. And they're all different colors. And we're talking about hot tropic, right? So I'm going to Mexico in a few weeks, and Spencer and I are planning a trip to Hawaii. So I'm all about like that island, tropical, hot feeling, right? So hot pink, bright orange, saturated red, dark purple, just like things that are really gonna pop and be just like really deep and intense. So that is the plan, and then I'm going to accent that with chartreuse green, because when you have those really dark saturated colors, sometimes they don't show up in the landscape as well. So putting in like yellows and the chartreuse greens really help those plants show off. So I'm going to carry that theme all the way through with my seeds. So I have a whole bunch of zinnias, I have a bunch of sunflowers, all the things. So that's going to be like my guiding light in the choices that I make for what seeds I'm going to keep for this year. I think that's it for what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to go over the list with you that I'm going to be focusing on for all of our landscaping and raised beds. Most of my flowers get planted in raised beds because I live on the Oregon coast. We are always moist. We're in a temperate climate. Our weeds are prolific. We have so many weeds. And so it's really hard to put seedlings or seeds just like on bare soil in the landscape because we have no idea if we should be pulling it or not. Spencer really helps a lot with weed pulling, and asking him to like remember where I planted seeds is ridiculous. And so what we have found that works the best is to put all of our seeds and seedlings in containers or raised beds, and then it's really clear like what we're looking for. Okay, so I have zinnias for my raised bed in front of the greenhouse. I need 96 zinnias. So I'll probably do 2 flats of 72 to make sure that I have 96 zinnias. And then I need 18 to 20 alyssum, because I'm going to create a border around the zinnias to create like some structure. So I'll probably do like 25 of those seeds, right? And then in my 2x2 boxes that are flanking the doors of the greenhouse, I'm going to plant celosia, and then I'll underplant them with some proven winter annuals. In the medicine garden, we have 7 12-foot long beds in tiers, right? So I'm going to plant on the edge of every one of those. I want a hedge of marigolds and calendula. And marigolds are in the calendula family. It's just that they have a different kind of shape to them. And so there's a little bit of a differentiation, but we're gonna do all marigolds, all calendula, all marigolds, and alternate between the beds. So I've got that all calculated out, how many marigolds and calendula seeds I need, or plants I need. I need 96 marigolds, I need 48 calendula, and then I'm gonna do big drifts of snapdragons, and so I need 215 snapdragons. So we'll see how that goes. And then in my 4x4 raised bed in the back of the greenhouse, we planted sunflowers there last year. Amazing, super fun. The sunflowers grew up above the greenhouse so we could see the sunflowers over the greenhouse. It was so fun. I'm going to grow sunflowers there again this year. We had to fill the bed about 1.5 feet with new soil and new like organic material. We put a hay bale in there, and then we put a layer of soil. So it's not gonna, they won't be growing in the same medium as they did last year. So I think they'll be okay. I need 16 to 20 sunflowers back there. Then I loved the Love Lies Bleeding Amaranth. Loved it. It was so beautiful in the garden and dried. So I want to fill 2 urns with those. I think that'll just be so beautiful. So I'm going to do that. So I need my Love Lies Bleeding. I'm going to do 3 trellises of sweet peas. Not garden peas, sweet peas. So I need enough for that. I need 15 seeds, which is pretty much like nothing, but that's what I need. And then I'm going to do bush beans in one of our raised beds, and only like 5 or 6 of those. So I'll double up on those because I know those bush beans are a couple years old. So I'll probably do like 10 bush bean seeds. And then there's just some other things that I'm going to add into my big containers out front. So I do know that I want to grow cosmos and some other like big airy kind of plants. So we'll look and see what we have here and see what we're going to save in that regard. So that is kind of my seed plan. As far as these catalogs go that I'm refusing to open, I do have a few seeds that I have in a cart at Swallowtail Gardens for our new butterfly garden that's going to go in. So those will be coming. And then I always buy my plants. I always buy my peppers and my tomatoes from the Master Gardener sale because I don't want to mess with trying to germinate those things. I just want the plant to have a good start from somebody else's greenhouse, and it could go into my cold frame greenhouse and grow. So I really don't think that I'll be ordering anything from these catalogs, but they are a wealth of information. Each seed has a description, and it gives like really great detailed description on how to grow that plant, where it likes to grow, good companion planting, all that kind of stuff. Johnny's seed packets have a ton of information on them and no pictures. So I like to keep my Johnny's catalog because then I could reference what does that one look like again, and I could go to the catalog because there's no pictures on the seed packets. Territorial has a ton of information in their catalog. Their catalog is so good. And then Baker Creek is just a phenomenal heirloom plant or heirloom seed. Fantastic pictures. So I do keep those around, and I keep florets. Catalog as well because, oh my gosh, she only grows a select few types of seeds, like zinnias and dahlias. I don't think she's selling her dahlias anymore. I don't know. And celosia. But I mean, okay, there's a whole page dedicated on the growing and care of celosia. So I keep those I keep this catalog close by. All right, let's get into these seeds, and I'm just gonna start sorting, and then I will come back here and chat with you. Glasses so I can see, coffee so I can function. first thing I'm doing is looking at the expiration date. No sense in even looking at what it is if it's expired. This is from 2017. Okay. This is new. This was chocolate lace flower. It was a really beautiful, really delicate plant, but it's a family of Queen Anne's lace. It looked really messy in the garden, and it didn't dry that great. So I'm gonna give this one away. All right. Well, I've been doing a lot better than I thought I was. I did throw away a handful of seeds that were, some of them were 5, 7, 8 years old. So I got rid of those. Clearly, I'm not planting them. And then I just have 2 to give to the library, which I'll just drop off the next time I'm at the library picking up some books. So, yeah, that's it. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and leave them in these container, or in this system for now, and maybe as I whittle things down, I want to try to use as many of these things as I can this year, and then really be selective on the seeds that I choose for subsequent years. Especially as the garden has like really started to get organized. I'm not just like throwing things out there everywhere anymore. There's a lot more intention behind each thing that I plant. So I think that going forward, I won't have quite as many seeds and planting options. But I am glad that I'm doing this year, where quite a few of these plants, even the ones that are on my list of things to do, like my zinnias, I have one new packet of zinnias that I bought this fall from Floret, the unicorn mix. But I have 4 other packets that were from previous year's growing season, so I'll have to double sow them, and I'm hoping that I have 100 zinnias come up for the project that I want. Otherwise, I might have to just buy like a few from a store somewhere, and it'll be easy to tuck them in because they're all going to just be mixed up, a whole bunch of different colors and sizes and varieties. So I'm not worried about finding one or finding some that will match. So that is the positive on just doing a bed full of zinnias, but still just trying to use as many of these as I can with the knowledge that I might not have enough. And then I did find some that I need to buy. So the alyssum, that I had a packet of alyssum in there, was 3 years old. So I need to buy a packet of alyssum, which is great because I actually really wanted the purple alyssum, and I only had white. So now I can just buy the purple ones. And then I need more snapdragons. I didn't have enough snapdragons to cover the area that I want to cover. I need to buy some more sunflowers. A lot of my sunflowers were old, and I haven't been having great germination with them. So the ones that grew the best were sunflower Steve's sunflowers that I bought last fall for the previous fall for last growing season. I didn't buy any from Sunflower Steve this year. I'll have to go on his website and see if there's any available, because he has a very, very small select amount, and I'm gonna have to source some sunflower seeds to do what I want to do in the back there. So yeah, that's what I've got going on. I know essentially what's happening this time of year is we are organizing and getting ready for the next season. I'm excited. I'm probably going to start seeds in just a couple of days. This afternoon I'm going to pick up my seed starting mix and make sure that I have all the tags that I need, and we'll get going on that. And the other thing that I'll be doing, even though I'm making big drifts of things, the other things that I'm only making, I only need a few of, like Love Lies Bleeding. I only need 4 of those plants, maybe 6. Instead of having an entire tray full of them, you know, I could divvy up one of those trays with all of the different kinds of flowers that I want to grow on, like Cosmos and Celosia and those different plants. So that'll be exciting. And yeah, that's it. That's going to be it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you are celebrating your life. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your new year, and that you've been inspired to get out and dream what your garden's going to look like. Go walk around your property and think about how you want things to look and what you want to grow and what you want to experience in the garden this coming year. And I hope that I see you in the next video. Bye.